very well deserved.
Thanks to the involvement of our preferred partners.
It is an opportunity of a lifetime.
3,600 students from all
entrepreneurial experience.
It started as an idea taken back to CBS from going abroad. They had been over to the US and participating in case competitions and thought that that would be a great idea to also bring home to CBS.
The inspiration was definitely that competition at Darden, Virginia. It was a great event, but I also think that Martin and I, we looked at it and said, there is an opportunity here to do something that can be absolutely the best in the world. The first task we had to do was to really get the support from the Copenhagen Business School.
I very often said this, education at CBS has two core components. Learn the mathematics, learn the topic, but also how to be a citizen and how to act together with other people, how to collaborate. I've never ever met successful people that have done it alone. It doesn't exist. You have to collaborate and be able to collaborate. So it's a small test for what will happen when you enter society.
And then I think our focus was really to get a good team around us.
It was a question of saying who can we find in our network who has the same drive and ambition level.
Started out in 2002 as a team host. And the competition was similar to what is called the invitational competition today. So it was 12 visiting universities that were competing against each other in the traditional case competition.
To set that ambition level and say that we want the sponsors to be Carlsberg.
Investing in education, investing in young people is in the DNA of Carlsberg. A great appraisal for me for what you're doing. I think it's extremely high level.
I think what inspired us was that it also had a social element.
My most fun memory within CCC is definitely the cabin trip.
The cabin trip.
The cabin trip that we did internally before even kicking off anything, because there you really get to know the people that you're going to work with for all these months.
A huge house with the indoor pool.
I don't know if every memory would be good to disclose.
Our annual award banquet is by far the best happening.
The award banquet afterwards where you can relax.
Kind of culminated, you're done, you're finally free.
It's sort of the culmination of all the hard work that everyone has been doing.
And you get this one final gala party.
So the organization behind CCC has evolved immensely throughout the years. And the way we actually also have now embraced another competition into our family.
Many felt that you didn't include so many people, so we had this huge event at CBS, but it was basically for 4 students of CBS together with 11 other school students. And then why would we do this big of an event and not include more people?
Beat the Elite was, a format to somehow democratize problem solving or case solving.
The Beat the Elite competition is an opportunity for all students to test their case-solving abilities.
The CBS Case Competition was founded on inviting the best schools and students from all around the world to participate in a very exclusive case-solving event. So, it was just a matter of let's invite the masses.
You could sign up as a student at CBS. We have 12 amazing schools participating in this case. Can you beat them? Hence the name as well. Can you be better than the 12 best schools in the world?
And throughout the years, this was a success to some extent, but they hadn't really found a format that really also caught the attention of enough students. So establishing the board of directors has enabled us to actually create a common red thread through all the years.
I guess it was in order to ensure that we kept the knowledge, because we keep having 20 plus new students each year reinventing, and sometimes it would be good to have a board or a forest that you could go and ask.
Overall, I would say it was a positive experience to have the experience from previous OCs. They were a strong support, and a lot of times where we called them up or had them in a meeting and discussed some key issues, they were pushing us to push further, which was, I think, what the board needs to do.
We wanted to also focus on some initiatives and strategy that went a little beyond just 1 year's case competition.
My desire to be part of the board of directors, actually, it was something that was already there when I was steering. Because you're in it, you don't want to let go. It was 2 great years that I would not have been without. So the open competition was actually a result of some of the ambitions that Benedicte and I had going into it. And we thought that there was some potential in the Beat the Elite format that could be further augmented. We wanted to expand the geographical scope further to Northern Europe. So we started off by putting it on the organizing committee to come up with a format that could enhance the experience of the competition. So how could we open it to a larger group of students?
And it's our first case we're ever trying to do.
And that's how we ended up expanding the borders of the competition.
But it was very much attached to the invitational competition. You would have the invitational competition getting launched.
Welcome to the CBS Case Competition finals.
And people could join and then solve the case in a team of 4. And then, if they were really good and very lucky, they could get invited for the final rounds of presentations.
But in 2019, the first year that I joined the organizing committee was when we transformed Open into Global.
I'm sitting here with the document from 2019 where Carlsberg actually was a case for the global case competition. So not only have we a physical case competition here for the week running here, but now there's also global case competition.
We saw interest from basically almost all continents the year before. So this very much motivated us to create a format where everybody was essentially able to participate across the world.
3,600 students from 84 different nationalities signed up and competed in this 24-hour case competition.
We had to figure out how to take something that was inherently in person and find a way to make the whole experience online.
Thousands of cases coming in a very short period, setting up a system that allowed us to rate and give personal feedback. It's an important part for us to make sure that we didn't lose any of the sort of DNA of what it is to partake in a case competition, which is the learning part.
And the logistics behind it all and figuring out, okay, how we're going to get visa for people from China in the span of 3 days.
I think it worked out pretty well. There was a lot of sort of first-time errors that we learned from, and that's how it should be.
We spent half a year developing a platform, and then when the case launched, the button that was supposed to allow people to download the case was broken. How do we get the case to 400 teams around 60 different countries so that they can still participate?
But I think the digital aspect really set the bar higher for that year because it allowed us to go beyond some of the quite little physical limits that Open had, which was, I think, the difference maker.
So I think it has been pleasing for me to see how you have actually managed to step up and make this even more professional year after year.
I think the biggest challenge that we've faced in CCC while I've been part of the organization is definitely COVID.
A SARS-like virus which has infected hundreds in China.
Italy and Spain are the latest European countries to tighten
COVID rates across the continent have been spiraling. Denmark is the highest.
You know, one of the things that made me extremely proud and really happy to see was, for instance, last year during COVID.
We started out in the middle of a lockdown. And it was hard to meet physically. We did a lot of online meetings and so on. And we ended up, being on the verge of canceling the entire thing. But we all wanted CCC to succeed. So we did more of a digital version.
You know, what we will do when COVID hits, or let's just cancel it. You know, seeing how the teams just jumped on it and said, okay, we can do something that is amazing online. You know, that is the ethos of what this competition is all about.
I think in total we work with 6 different scenarios on how we could host the invitational competition.
What we could expect, I think, was constantly changing.
And it was very challenging to onboard the partners. We didn't have any material, we didn't have any data that it was going to be a success.
So we did a more of a digital version, which still played out to be great for participants, for the companies and so on.
And they actually succeeded in having a case competition that was on all levels at par with what we are used to seeing from CBS Case Competition, just without the live audience.
Program, but if we're moving fully sustainable by the year 2025, this would also really help in the long term as well.
When 20, 30 students with a common aim gets together, works hard for a year, blend work and fun together, it is impossible not to create lasting relationships.
I met my girlfriend when I was part of the organizing committee. So if you don't want to do cases but you're single, then you can also just show up. It might be worth it.
I think it's a great mix of getting to learn a bunch of stuff and getting exposed to case solving, and in the meantime having lots of fun and meeting new friends.
You gain something from being part of CBS Case Competition that you cannot gain anywhere else.
It probably can't be beaten by anything you're doing, even in your workplace in your formative years.
I'm not quite sure where CBS Case Competition and Business Battlefield and our organization as a whole will go in the future. But I hope that the future generations of organizing committees will actually also push the boundaries and create something new.
And that's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to be a case competition. It's still that innovation, it's still that focus on leaders of the future that is the underlying drivers.
It's lots of hours, lots of learnings, and lots of laughs. Ja, det var vildt. Det må jeg sige.
Come on.